Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking a fascinating journey, really, back to an ancient world. Think warring kings, daring rescues, and some pretty surprising displays of integrity.
Hmm.
Our source for this is the historical account found in excerpts from Genesis 14.
Right.
So our mission today really is to dig into this ancient text. We want to pull out the strategic insights, the character stuff,
Yeah, the revelations.
and those aha moments that make this so much more than just like an old story.
And what's really striking about this particular text, I think, is how it reads almost like an ancient intelligence report or something.
Right. Yeah.
It gives us such detailed names, places, motivations even. It's a real window into the geopolitics of a very distant past.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be looking at the alliances, the military moves, and importantly, the big ethical choices these key players made.
So what does this deep dive mean for you listening? Well, you'll discover just how complex ancient power dynamics actually were.
Yeah.
What true leadership maybe looked like back then in
Right.
chaotic times, and the unexpected ways integrity could show up, on the battlefield and afterwards.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So our story kicks off with a major regional conflict. We're talking 9 kings involved here.
9, yeah.
You've got 4 powerful kings from the East Kedorlaomer of Elam. Seems to be the main one, a big imperial force.
Clearly. And they're lined up against 5 local kings, including the rulers of places we know, like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
But this conflict wasn't, out of the blue. The text tells us these 5 local kings had actually been vassals.
Oh, yeah.
Subject to Kedorlaomer for 12 long years.
12 years.
And in the 13th year, they dared to rebel. That's what sets the stage for this massive confrontation.
So what changed?
Well, that's a crucial question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What finally pushed these vassal states over the edge after, 12 years of putting up with it? It suggests maybe a breaking point, right? A feeling that the risk of war was actually less than the burden of continuing to be subservient.
Interesting. And Kedorlaomer's response, it sounds pretty swift and brutal.
Oh, absolutely. In
Well,
the 14th year, he and his allies launched this huge campaign.
Right.
And listen to this. It wasn't just a straight shot at the rebels. First, they went on this massive, sweeping military expedition,
Okay.
conquering all these diverse groups and territories across a huge area. Rephates up north, Amalekites down south.
Wow.
It was a clear show of overwhelming imperial power, like designed to crush any thought of future rebellion before they even got to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Intimidation tactic.
Big time.
Yeah.
So the main battle, when it finally happens between Kedorlaomer's guys and the 5 rebels, takes place in the Valley of Siddim.
Which we know as the Dead Sea Valley today.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is the detail the text gives. The valley was full of tar pits.
Arcrockets. Okay, that sounds messy.
And it becomes incredibly significant. It's where the terrain itself kind of turns against the rebels.
How so?
Well, imagine this scene. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah are fleeing the battle,
Right.
and some of their men literally stumble and fall right into these natural tar pits.
Oh, wow. Talk about bad luck.
Terrible luck. While others manage to scramble away into the hills, so the eastern kings just sweep in them.
And take everything.
Seize all the goods, all the food from Sodom and Gomorrah, spoils of war, everything.
So a total victory for Kedorlaomer at this point.
It looks like it,
Yeah.
but this regional war suddenly becomes intensely personal for one man, Abram,
Because
because among the people captured and carried off was his own nephew, Lot.
Lot, right, who was living in Sodom.
Exactly. And that personal connection just completely changes the game. It makes Abram's involvement almost inevitable.
Mm-hmm. It shows how these big geopolitical things can suddenly pivot on, like, family ties.
Precisely. So someone escapes the battle, finds Abram the Hebrew, and tells him Lot's been captured.
And the text mentions where Abram is living near the trees of Mamre the Amorite. And he's allied with Mamre's brothers, Eshcol and Aner.
Yes, and that's significant. What does that alliance tell us?
Well, it suggests Abram wasn't just some, isolated nomad wandering around.
Exactly. He clearly had powerful local connections. He was a figure of some influence, some strategic importance in that region.
Okay.
And when he hears about Lot, he doesn't, hesitate.
Yeah.
The text says he immediately calls out 318 trained men born in his household.
318 trained men, not just random guys.
No, trained. And crucially, born in his household.
So not mercenaries, not draftees.
No, these are his own people. This shows a remarkable level of Well, self-sufficiency, organization, and loyalty.
That's quite a force for one household to muster.
It really is. And the insight there, I think, is that in these, decentralized ancient societies, powerful individuals like Abram could build their own influence, not through state armies, maybe, but through the loyalty and training of their own private group, kind of an early form of personal enterprise and defense.
Right. So Abram gets his 318 men. What's the plan?
Well, his response isn't just emotional, it's strategic. He leads them in pursuit as far as Dan. That's a fair distance.
Okay.
But here's the clever bit. He doesn't just charge in. Under the cover of night, Abram divides his men to attack.
Ah, a night raid. Dividing forces.
Classic move. He routs the enemy, pursues them all the way to Hobah, which is north of Damascus,
So he catches the victorious army, Kedorlaomer's army.
who were probably feeling pretty good about themselves, likely complacent.
Right, and hits them when they least expect it. Brilliant.
The sheer audacity, really, and the success of it is just striking. He doesn't just rescue Lot.
Yeah.
He recovers all the goods that were taken from Sodom.
All of them.
All of them. Brings back Lot's possessions and rescues the women and the other people who'd been captured.
Wow. So it wasn't just a snatch and grab for his nephew.
Not at all. It was a full-on recovery operation
Yeah.
against a force that had just won a major war and was, presumably much larger.
That really underscores the effectiveness of his strategy.
Absolutely. It shows that, smart thinking and disciplined action can sometimes overcome huge differences in numbers,
Yeah.
especially if you use surprise and maybe you know the terrain or the enemy's habits.
Incredible. So after this amazing victory, Abram returns. And he's met by two very different figures.
That's right. First, the king of Sodom comes out to meet him in the valley of Sheva, the king's valley.
Okay, the guy whose stuff Abram just recovered.
Exactly. But then another figure appears, a really enigmatic, significant one, Melchizedek.
Melchizedek, king of Salem. What's now Jerusalem, potentially.
Potentially, yeah, king of Salem. And he brings out bread and wine. The text identifies him as a priest of God Most High.
A priest king. Interesting combination.
Very. And he blesses Abram. He says, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand."
A direct acknowledgement of a higher power in Abram's victory.
Explicitly. And Abram's response here is fascinating. What does he do? He gives Melchizedek a tenth of everything.
A tithe.
A tithe. And this isn't just like a payment for the bread and wine.
Okay.
It feels much deeper.
Yeah, it seems like a profound act of, reverence? Acknowledging Melchizedek's status or the God he represents.
Exactly. It shows Abram recognizing a higher authority, a higher source for his victory. It demonstrates this deep spiritual principle guiding him, even right after this major military, secular triumph.
Okay, so that's the encounter with Melchizedek. Then what happens with the king of Sodom?
Right. So after that, the king of Sodom makes Abram an offer. He says, basically, give me back my people, the ones you rescued.
And you keep all the goods for yourself.
Exactly. Keep the loot.
Which on the surface seems fair enough, maybe even generous. Abram did the work, took the risk.
It seems perfectly reasonable, right? Abram gets rewarded for his efforts, reclaims stuff that's by right of conquest now.
But that's not what Abram does.
No. And here Abram faces this profound test of his integrity. His response is incredibly powerful.
What does he say?
He swears an oath, but not to the king of Sodom. He swears it to the Lord God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. Same title Melchizedek used.
Okay.
And he says, I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or the strap of a sandal,
Not even the smallest thing.
so that you will never be able to say, I made Abram rich.
Wow. That is a statement.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the aha moment here, I think, is Abram understanding what true independence means.
Which isn't just about wealth.
Right. It's not just about accumulating stuff. It's about maintaining your autonomy, controlling your own story, your own narrative.
So by refusing the king's offer.
He prevents the king of Sodom, this, potentially compromised figure,
Yeah.
from ever claiming any credit for Abram's success or prosperity. He secures his future leverage, his reputation. It's a powerful lesson in self-definition or refusing to let others define your achievements for you.
So he doesn't want anyone thinking his success came from the king of Sodom, of all people.
Precisely. He attributes his success elsewhere, implicitly, to God Most High, the one Melchizedek represented.
So after making that very clear statement, what's the practical outcome? He doesn't take anything back.
Well, he makes a distinction. He accepts only what his own men had already eaten during the campaign basic provisions. Fair enough.
Okay.
And he makes sure his allies, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, get their designated share of the spoils. They took the risk with him. They deserve their part.
Right. He's principled, but also fair to his allies.
Exactly. He upholds his oath, but ensures his partners aren't penalized for his personal stand.
So looking back at this whole episode, it's really more than just an ancient battle story, isn't it?
Oh, far more. It's this rich narrative just packed with insights into ancient geopolitics, yes, military strategy, but maybe above all, into profound character.
Yeah.
We see this powerful demonstration of leadership in Abram, not just as, the spiritual patriarch figure we might think of later,
Right.
but as a strategic thinker, a highly organized leader, and someone deeply principled.
Yeah, our deep dive into Genesis 14 has really shown this intricate web of ancient alliances, the brutal realities of war back then, and the unexpected resolve of this one man, Abram, to protect his family and maintain his integrity, even when faced with, like, really tempting offers. And the details really bring it to life, don't they? The tar pits, the 318 trained men. It makes that ancient world feel a bit more real.
It absolutely does. And it leaves us with, I think, a pretty compelling question for you, the listener, to think about.
Okay.
In our own world, right, where credit and reputation are so often tangled up with who you associate with, who funds you, who supports you, what does Abram's unwavering commitment to principle, even when it meant refusing potentially immense wealth, what does that teach us about real independence?
Yeah.
And about who we allow to claim credit for our success? How do you define your own thread or sandal strap, that thing you absolutely refuse to compromise, just so someone else can't say, I made you?
That's a powerful thought to end on, something to definitely mull over.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll continue to explore this rich tapestry of knowledge with us next time.